I'm going to go over an example about dividing radicals using conjugates. So basically we have an expression 4 divided by 2 plus square root of 3, and notice that in the denominator square root of 3 is irrational number. So what I want to do is I want to rationalize the denominator. However, in this case, we have a 2 plus square root of 3, so we cannot just multiply by square root of 3. That's not gonna work. We would just make it more difficult because we would distribute. So we don't wanna do that. Instead, we're gonna use conjugates. So what are conjugates? If you look at this formula, a plus b times a minus b equals a square minus b square, this formula is differences of squares. However, the factors a plus b times and a minus b, so those two factors, they are actually conjugates. So they are pairs of binomials in which the second term is the opposite. Okay, so those are conjugates. And we're gonna use this formula to simplify this expression, or basically to divide this expression. So here is what I'm gonna do. Since I wanna follow this formula, I already have let's say this is a, this is b. I already have a plus b, right? So in order to use differences of squares, a square minus b square, what I need a minus b. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multiply this by 2 minus square root of 3. So it's the same as a minus b, okay? However, in the denominator, we also have to put 2 minus square root of 3. The reason is that 2 minus square root of 3 divided by 2 minus square root of 3 equals 1. And as you know, if we multiply an expression by 1, it is not changing its value, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. We're going to have 2 plus square root of 3 times 2 minus square root of 3. And now we can use this formula a square minus b square. Okay, so let's do this. The numerator we will have to distribute, and since I'm distributing, I am gonna put this term in parentheses. So now we have 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times negative square root of 3 is negative 4 square root of 3. Okay, so the numerator we distributed. So the denominator, we're gonna follow this formula, and the a, for a, number 2 stands for a, so we're gonna write 2 squared minus, and square root of 3, we're gonna write square root of 3 squared, okay? I'm gonna put this in parentheses. Now, the numerator is gonna stay 8 minus 4 square root of 3 divided by 2 squared, 2 times 2, 4 minus, and square root of 3 squared. If you have a square root that you square, you're basically canceling square root and the square, and the answer is gonna be 3. Alright, so now we're gonna write numerator 8 minus 4 square root of 3 divided 4 minus 3 is 1, but we do not have to write 1, so 8 minus 4 square root of 3 is gonna be the answer. Okay, so there was a really good question in the classroom. A student was asking me, why when we have something like 4 divided by 2 square root of 3, we can multiply this expression by square root of 3 over square root of 3, but we cannot do it in this case? Well, there is a simple answer. This expression that means 2 times square root of 3, so this is only multiplication. However, over here we have 2 plus square root of 3, and as I mentioned at the beginning, if I do 2 plus square root of 3 and multiply by square root of 3, it's not gonna solve the problem. It's gonna be 2 square root of 3 plus, and 2 times square root of 3 times 2 times square root, I'm sorry, 2 square, okay, let me just start again. Square root of 3 times 2 is 2 square root of 3, and square root of 3 times square root of 3, you know, it's the square root of 9, which equals 3. So notice that it would not really solve the problem, and we just gonna create another another irrational number, and that's what we don't want. So every time when you have a 2 plus square root of 3, you want to do the conjugate, which you're gonna change the second term to opposite, so that you can use the formula a square minus b square. So I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions.